Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Area 210 podcast. I'm your host here, Joe Garcia. I'm going to be talking with my counterpart here, good friend, and let's say guest co host of the show today, the one and only Fernandez, the infamous Fernandez.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up, big dog? How are you? Good to see you. I know Mike will be joining us shortly. I know we got the Nestles in the chat already. Good to see
Yeah,
everybody. Good morning to everybody.
yeah, good
Yeah,
morning.
man. It's Friday. It's Friday, and we don't give a damn.
Yeah,
Friday,
we
we don't
know.
give a damn.
Yeah, we got Roy in the chat, Chris Gonzalez, Tony Gonzalez. We have Tony Ornales, should I say? Hooper Flash, Sam Salinas, Matt Gomez. What's up, man? Gert joining us from the Netherlands.
What's
You
up,
know,
my man Sam? What's up, my
yeah,
man Sam? Yeah, man. Hey, it's awesome, man. How these guys like clockwork are here. Kudos to them for being there. I know somebody was joking about being on time. Hey, listen, when I'm on, I try to be on. We try to be on time, bro. I tell you, and I know Joe works hard to make sure we on time, but we already know. So. But yeah, man. Shout out to everybody out there on the chat, man. You guys are real ones, man. Real talk.
yeah. I'm trying to change the angle here to give you more real estate there on the screen.
You straight? Yeah, I just want to make sure we good. But yeah, man. But yeah, no, it's awesome. Glad to be here. It's Friday. And like I said, it's good to see all the gente in the chat already.
Yeah, already, man. Look at that Hooper Flash says mimosas. Of course, man.
Yep, it's Friday, baby. It's Friday. It's mimosa time, baby.
Look who
So
just walked in through the
there
door.
he is. There he is. There he is. What's up, Tony Ornales? Good morning, brother.
What's up, Mike?
You hooked me up with the screen, brother.
Yeah, I thought it was on already.
What's going on? Good morning, everybody. It's
What's up, bro?
Fernandez. How you doing,
What's
man?
up? I'm good, bro. I'm good. How are you? Good to see you.
It is Friday, and we don't give a damn, baby.
You already know, baby. You already know.
Here's the thing, man. I just bought my 2 squares for the Super Bowl, man. So
Yeah. What'd you get? You don't know
well, I
yet?
haven't gotten the numbers yet, man.
Oh, today. Okay. Yeah.
I usually run squares for Super Bowl, so lots
Man.
to get into. Lots to get into today, Fernandez.
Yeah,
What we're talking about, man. We're talking about the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 59 coming up.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans, we got the three-peat possibility for the Chiefs. We got the Eagles trying to see if they can knock out. And I mean, it was a close game in Super Bowl 57, right?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
Saquon get a chip? Dude, we're going to talk about some of these prop bets that are going on. The Spurs, what are the odds of them making a run for the play-in tournament? Dude, I'm telling you, all it takes is 500 at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna ask relationship advice too.
Relationship
How
advice?
young is too young?
Dude, there's a formula for that. And Steven Jackson going off and saying that De'Aaron Fox is better than Tony Parker. Better than Tony Parker ever was. So we'll get into that. So, you look good, man. I like the outfit.
I appreciate it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I got a rep, man. I got a rep out here in San Diego. Got to let them know. Got to let them know what's up.
Very nice. We got a super chat already coming in early from Sam Salinas.
Yeah, man.
$5 saying Atlanta tanking for the Spurs. Gotta love it. Thank you, Hawks. Thank you, Hawks. Grito for the ATL. He paid for it. Let's hear it.
You paid for it. We're gonna deliver it, man. Right? What was the stipulation? It has to be $5 and up for the
$5 or
grito?
more.
5 and above. Yeah, yeah.
Por presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
Oh, let's pour one out for those picks that used to belong to the Atlanta Hawks. You know, I was critical of that trade for DeJounte Murray because it
Really?
came out to be 2 first-rounders and a swap, right? And then you ended up having that Charlotte first-rounder that never happened. That ended up getting flipped for De'Aaron Fox. So it's kind of interesting how that all happened. But what happened yesterday was the Cavaliers traded for DeAndre Hunter from the Hawks, right? DeAndre Hunter balled out against the Spurs the other day. Good player. On top of that, you saw that Johnson got hurt earlier this week. They are reeling. And now the Spurs' chances of getting a very, very good draft pick keep going up. I was watching the Ringers podcast yesterday, Fernandez, and they were saying that the fact that the chance of the Spurs getting a 5 to 10% chance when it comes down to it of getting Cooper Flag, they said imagine a team that has Wemby, Cooper Flag, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and Sohan. What kind of damage would that lineup do?
Bro, first of all, real quick, people are talking about this is like the one day in SoCal that it's like drizzly and rainy. So my roof is kind of there's you can hear
Yeah.
rain on the roof. So it ain't a bed squeaking in the background like you guys say. Because
Nice.
They
if
said
it was a
somebody's
bed
getting
squeaking,
busy.
I wouldn't be here with you guys. But um,
You're not gonna pull a Shannon Sharp.
No, he's like Burt Reynolds in Boogie Nights.
yeah,
He's producing
yeah.
he's producing the videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, man. You know what, Mike? That would be multiple rings. It would be insane. It'd be crazy. And I know there's always a lot of back and forth about the picks and fuck them picks or trade those picks or keep them and who's right, who's wrong. It doesn't matter about all that. But this is just a stay the course and wait and see how things play out. I know people would hate to be patient and all that, but imagine had the Spurs got rid of those picks a long time ago when everybody was like
Right.
they're worthless, they're not worth anything, and no one's a foreseer. Like we don't know, like you don't know for sure, but it's like you make calculated risks and calculated decisions, as in life, as in finance, right, Mike, in your job, as in Joe's job with all his high intel IT stuff. You make calculated risk and weigh out all your options. So to weigh it out and say let's not sell these picks yet. Let's not sell them. Smart move, man. I'm sorry, man. You can say what you want. I'm not trying to be a Brian Wright apologist, whatever. But they still got Fox
Right.
and those picks. See that's the difference. I see Tavares and they're saying fuck them picks, win. I'm not saying just because you pick the picks you're not winning. It's not one or the other. They got Fox and still kept those picks.
Well,
So-
I think the consensus was that the Hawks picks were valuable,
Mhm.
right? Because Trae Young always gets hurt.
Well, they weren't in the, but there was a point in time.
There was a point in time where
that
It was
yeah,
a mid-teens pick possibility.
You know what I
Uh,
still say? Fuck them picks,
No,
bro.
no,
I
dude,
want to
dude,
win
dude,
now.
dude,
I want to
no.
win
You
now.
can win. You can win now and keep the
now.
picks.
Joe,
That's what you can win now. They're not one or the other. You can win now and keep the picks.
I
Fuck some of the picks.
I think
Fuck
what
some of the
Fernandez,
picks.
I think what Fernandez is saying though is that we need to triage these picks. There are
Yeah.
some picks that are good.
Yes.
There's some first rounders that we have that are good.
Yes.
There's some that are bad.
Not
Okay?
all picks are created.
Well,
Not all
no,
picks are created
no,
equally.
picks
Not
themselves.
all picks are created equally.
Joe is going off the deep end. He needs to catch up to the wavelength that we're on, Fernandez.
No, I know what you're
He's
saying.
living in the past.
I know what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is that the quality of the first round pick of where it's being drafted. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to fumble the bag, right? That doesn't mean that you're going to pick the wrong player. But the Atlanta picks are valuable because the 25 pick is becoming more valuable by the day.
They could be
Right.
leveraged.
The 26 swap is becoming more valuable by the day, so is the 27.
Yeah.
We have some other ones, like the Boston 2028 one is probably a bad one. It's a swap,
Yeah,
right? That's probably irrelevant, right? The 2030 swap that we have with the Mavericks becoming more valuable that Luka Doncic is not there, and by then Anthony Davis will be 35, 36 years old. So you can look at that. When you take a look at the picks that we had this year, Chicago's top 10 protected. I mean, come on, whatever. It was a whatever pick.
Yeah.
The Charlotte's top 14 protected was worthless. So what I was trying to explain to Joe over here is that some of these first rounders that we got are actually valuable. Some of the first rounders that we have are pieces of trash, and we need to understand the difference. The first rounder that we got for Thad Young, that we got for Jakob Poeltl, those were trash first round
Was
picks
it
because
Devontae Graham got a couple picks for him.
they turned into Malachi Branham and Blake Wesley picks number 22
City?
and 25. City Sissoko,
Where's he at?
gone.
Yeah.
The thing is, Joe, is that these picks that we have that we're getting from Atlanta. You're looking at the records that Atlanta has. Atlanta has lost 9 out of 10 games. They are 23 and 28. So think about that. They were 22 and 19. They were 22 and 19 10 games ago. They're 23 and 28 now. They got rid of DeAndre Hunter, who was a lottery pick, a top 5 pick. Jalen Johnson goes down with an injury. Boom. Those two players combined 36 points per game. Trae Young is on an island right now with Zachary Reese-Archet and nothing else around him. And this pick, you look at the standings. Portland's half a game away from Atlanta. Chicago's a game and a half away from Atlanta. Philadelphia's 2.5 games from Atlanta. If that Atlanta pick right now, which is currently slotted at number 10, going into the lottery, goes to number 9, number 8, number 7. Now you're looking at the fact that with that pick, if it gets to number 7, just 2.5 games away, the Spurs would have a 32% chance of being in the top 4. They would have a 7.5% chance of being in the number 1 overall pick. You couple that with the fact that if the Spurs don't make the playoffs this year, what happens to the Spurs? Well, the Spurs have a pick right now that might, as of right now, 9% chance of being in the top 4. So it's possible that the Spurs could be in a range of about a 1-3 to a 2-5 chance of being a top 4 pick, and maybe a 1-10 to a 1-7 chance of being the number 1 overall pick, which is where we were with Wemby.
And got De'Aaron Fox.
And got De'Aaron
Fox. Like you're right, Mike. Goddamn, I hate to say this, but everything you're saying is 100.
You're making making friends. Did we just become best friends?
Yes.
It's insane. No, you're right though. All picks are not created equal. I'm sorry, man. All picks are not created equal, and I get the whole like fuck the picks so we can win. I'm not. They're again, like I always say on this show and just all the time, things are not just black and white. Things are not just one way this way, one way that way. It's not just, well, keep the picks, that means you don't want to win. There's a homogenistic way of things in life. And just like this, you like Mike said eloquently, if I may say, there's picks that are worthless, there's picks that are worth keeping, there's picks that are worth, hey, let's wait and see. Like that's why this thing is a multifaceted process. That's why, as smart as I think I am, I'm not a GM. You know what I mean? I'm not a lawyer. I'm not like, there's so many things going on that are happening that you have to foresee. And like you're saying, Mike, those Dallas picks in 2030 and those other picks, I'm not trying to give Brian Wright this like credit of like foreseeing things, but if you do look at the league, it's like every 5 years or so, stars leave. You know what I mean? There's always this huge transition, right? Like we're seeing it now with like Luka and all that. So I guarantee you somebody had to have been thinking when they're looking at those 20, 30, 31 picks for Rob Dillingham and all that, somebody is thinking to themselves, Minnesota might be in the dumps because Anthony Edwards is going to be gone by that time or whatever, right? So there's a lot going on there, man. That's all I'm saying, man. There's a lot more thought and due diligence that's happening than people want to give credit, I think.
We got $1.99 super chat coming in from Tony Ornelas. He says, Joe, don't be wrong like Jerry, be like right. No, Mom. The problem that I have with all these things, okay, they get a high pick and all that. Back then, what was the Spurs mantra? Built, not brought, right?
Right.
Built, not brought. We go ahead and
built, not bought.
We build our teams, from within, and we develop and all that. The Spurs can't do that now. It's not that type of
that's
league
okay.
anymore.
But I mean, yeah, that's okay though. See, that's what I think. I think people. And you're right. Back in the day, that was the whole thing. Built, not bought. That was kind of like. I think that was a lot to do with when the Spurs and the Heat were playing. Because it was seen as that the Heat bought a super team, and the Spurs built Tony, Timmy, Manu within, and that made sense. Built, not bought. But we're not in that era no more. So
exactly, we're not.
I mean, and that's okay. There's not. I mean, they don't have to just stick with building, not buying. Like I mean,
yeah.
Well,
my thing is, it's this now. In this day and age, if you want to be competitive, you can't have the luxury of trying to develop a lot of these players. Unless you have a big plan in effect where it's going to take years for you to do that. The Spurs are on the cusp right now, and if they really want to be competitive with other teams in the West or other teams in the NBA, what happens now is that teams go out there, they make trades, they go after free agents. They don't really wait to develop now,
Right. Well, the thing about the Atlanta pick getting worse and worse, and that team getting worse by the day, is the fact that if the Spurs want to pull a trade, that becomes a valuable asset. It becomes more valuable. That $10 bill turns into a 20, turns into a 50, turns into a C note because it's becoming a better pick. Right now, there are 4 players in the NBA draft that are considered to be far and above everybody else, right? So you have Cooper Flagg, who's a 6'9" wing out of Duke. The player comparison that I see on NBADraftRoom.com right now is Scottie Pippen. White Scottie Pippen. Okay.
Hey, Jordan needed a Pippen.
That's right. Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, both of Rutgers, are numbers 2 and 3. Dylan Harper, a shooting guard. Ace Bailey, a small forward. Dylan Harper is described as a James Harden type of prospect. Ace Bailey, the small forward, who's 6'9". T-Mac.
That'd be nice.
Comparison.
Small forward would be nice.
Then VJ Edgecombe, who's shooting 39% right now from three out of Baylor. Kind of small for his position, but he shoots lights out. Described as a Victor Oladipo, Dwayne Wade, Jalen Green type of guy. Those are the four best prospects right now. And right now, the Spurs are in a position to say, okay, well, we have like a 20% chance of getting there. But the fact of the matter is that might turn into a 40% chance when it's all said and done. Let me ask you this, Fernandez. Let's say the Spurs do get a top 4 pick, and it's not a number 1 overall. Let's say that number 1 overall is Cooper Flag, and we get the number 3 or 4 pick, right? Kind of like Houston when Houston got number 4 pick when we got Wemby, right?
Yeah.
Do you take the best player, or do you take the position that you need at this point?
That's always a good question. That's always a good question. And I hearken this back to, and my sons and I talk about this, when the Trailblazers selected, Clyde Drexler. I'm sorry, they chose Sam Bowie because they had Clyde Drexler already, and Jordan was on the table, right? They went for what they needed in the position. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the best player. That's always a tough question. I don't know, man. I go with what's the best position. I would say because that's what you need. Like you bring the best player in, and what if it's a logjam between him, De'Aaron Fox, you know what I mean, Steph Castle, so on and so forth, right? So there's two schools of thoughts. One is, hey, take the best player available. You have to. I personally would veer towards take what's the better position and for you and what you need. Because again, getting the best player doesn't always necessarily translate to wins. Like again, there's only one ball, so you could get let's say the best player available is a power forward or a center or whatever, and Wemby's. Let's say the best player there is akin to the position Wemby is playing. Now what? Now we're in a logjam, right? You see what I'm saying? So to me, that's why I said I like the small forward kid Bailey, because that would be a whole plug. And when you're talking about the best players, it's not like there's so much difference. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's night and day, a gap between the talent. So all those players are all relatively probably as talented as each other, sans a couple here and there. So because there's not that much difference, I would go for the position needed.
It's funny because some of these players are this was supposed to be the big badass class, and apparently it hasn't turned out to be the case. Really, you have Cooper Flag, you got 3 others, and then you've got some pieces, right? The Spurs are going to get a good player at 7, 8, 9, 10, or whatever it's going to be. So it's one of those things where you have to spin the plates, where you have to, we talk about this with the Cowboys. You got to draft well, you got to get the right free agents, and you got to pull the occasional trade. The whole built not bought was because, like you said, it was because of that whole thing going on with the Heat. But you got to build through the draft, you got to build through free agency, and you got to build through the trades. Brian Wright has been not afraid to pull trades at the draft deadline of getting these picks. Now he finally pulled the trigger. Thank God. And he pulled the trigger on the right guy in De'Aaron Fox.
Got him for a bag of chips.
Got it for a bag of chips. It could have been Trae Young. A lot of Spurs fans were like, hey, go get Trae Young over the offseason. But he got De'Aaron Fox. I'm going to tell you why De'Aaron Fox is the right player. I've said this all last week. De'Aaron Fox, if he played in New York, Boston, if he played in Miami, played in Chicago, he would have been a star. But because he's behind the big guards of the Western Conference, Luka Doncic, he's behind Devin Booker, he's behind Steph Curry, he doesn't get those all-star appearances. He averages 26, 27 points per game, doesn't make all-star games. The guy's a stud. Everybody knows it. Steven Jackson, former Spur, came out the other day on his podcast. He talks crap about the Spurs a lot, right? Former Spur. They asked him about De'Aaron Fox, and he was saying, Ben, the Spurs fleeced Sacramento on that trade. But he went on to say what they're going to see, what Spurs fans are going to see, is the best point guard the franchise has ever had. Is that high praise, or is it, pump the brakes a little bit, saying that De'Aaron Fox is in fact better than what Tony Parker ever was?
It could be. It could be, but we got to let it play out. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's impossible. We got to let it play out. I mean, De'Aaron Fox has the talent, has the moxie, has the grit to be the best point guard that we've ever had in the city. That might sound like blasphemy, but I'm saying he has the potential to be when it's all said and done. We got to wait till it's all said and done, because here's the thing: real kings have rings. So
Right.
so we got to wait and see, right? Because if he takes this team to rings and back to glory and all that, then we can have that discussion. I love Stat, but we know how he feels about the Spurs. We know he takes he passes up zero chance to throw shade on the Spurs. So we know that. So you got to take who it's coming from, kind of thing.
I don't
But
think he's wrong. I'm
not saying he's wrong. I'm saying there's a possibility. But right now, today, like Mike, you like to say, right? What's today? The 8th, or I don't know, what's today? The 7th, whatever. February 7th, 2025. To sit here and say today he's already, we can't say that now.
Well, the
Let's
point
see.
the point I'm trying to make is there's a difference between greatness and then talent, right? So,
Right.
for example, is Tom Brady the greatest talent ever at quarterback? No. He's got the ring.
He's
Therefore,
the greatest winner. He's the greatest winner.
Tony Parker is
yeah.
great because of winner. We know
Tony
that
Parker's a great winner.
Mahomes and Dan Marino,
Yes.
talent-wise,
Marino has more talent.
than Tom
Right.
Brady, right?
Sure.
Well, but you look at it just from a talent perspective.
From a talent perspective, I do think Fox is more talented than Tony Parker. Yes.
Right. And it's because he's better at defense.
Yeah.
He attacks the basket better, which is weird because for a 2 or 3 year period, Tony Parker was one of the best at attacking the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
But De'Aaron Fox, there's just something about him that I've always enjoyed watching play. And at the end of the game, when the Spurs played the Hawks the other day, I know it was a 1-point win. I was talking to Joe. Joe was very critical, saying we shouldn't be, the Hawks shouldn't be competing with us. Dude, De'Aaron Fox stepped into a situation where he didn't even know his teammates, didn't know any of the players. He was out there just hooping. He was just out there doing street ball, 24 points, 13 assists. And at the end of the game, telling Wemby, do not kick the ball back out to me. This is going to you.
Yeah.
This is your team.
Yeah.
Everybody else has to fall in line. We now have a leader of the team.
Yeah.
We now have a veteran leader of the team who's in his prime or entering his prime. His name is De'Aaron Fox. And if he sees that Wemby, that is his team, and he's not, and Devin Vassell can no longer do hero ball.
No, bro.
Because I think De'Aaron Fox is somebody who can tell Devin Vassell,
He's that meme now.
know your role.
He's that meme. I'm the captain now.
Yeah. He is the captain.
He's the captain. Dude.
He is the captain.
This is his
It's
team.
so great. This is so much fun.
This is what we live for, man. This is what we waited for days like this, man. But going back to Antonio Ornales made the point about being the greatest point guard means you bring championships, and I agree. And that goes back to what we're talking about.
And
talent versus greatest of all time, or whatever you want to call it. I do think De'Aaron Fox is more talented than Tony Parker. To say he's the greatest point guard the city has ever had, bring rings plus talent will equate that, in my opinion.
Do you know what I feel like right now? I feel like Joe Burrow, right? Joe Burrow plays for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Great player, probably one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in the league, but he has to go through Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson-led teams.
Josh Allen MVP.
Yes. Congratulations to Josh Allen.
Yep. Shout out there.
Weird vote. But look at the West.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City Thunder's not going anywhere. They're just getting stronger. Memphis is not going anywhere. Denver has a bunch of talent. Jokic, 3-time MVP. Houston's getting better. Suddenly you've got Luka with the Lakers. You've got Minnesota who has a lot of young talent. Kawhi Leonard, if he's healthy, is still one of the best players in the league. You've got Golden State with Jimmy Butler came from the East to the West. All the talent is in the West. It is murderer's row.
And don't forget the Lakers at the end.
And you got the Lakers and LeBron.
Well, I akin that to Jordan era. How many talented players? Stockton, Malone, Sean Kemp, you know what I'm saying? Barkley, when he was with Phoenix, all those talented players couldn't get rings because
we're gonna have
go
to
through
take a
Jordan.
pause here, man. Jason Garcia pointed something out, and I know,
Can you not hear
dude.
me?
Yeah, it's bad audio. So what we'll do is we'll take a quick break here,
Okay.
and Jason Garcia get $4.99 super chat. Thank you, man. We appreciate it. He says Fernandez sounds like he is talking through a cup and string. They give him a grito for bad audio.
I mean, he's always a hater, so that don't surprise me.
He's giving you a hard time because he's Navy and you're Marine, you know.
Well, he's always been a hater, and we already know why. But it is what it is. It is what it is. You ain't got it. Don't act brand new. But I know you a hater. But all right, yeah, let's fix it.
Do the grito.
Por presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
Yeah, I think we have a rule for just 2 gritos max per
For
show.
That was the second grito.
That was the second grito. So first 2 are $5. You want to hear the third time? It's $10. Deal, Joe? Deal?
Okay, that's a deal.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah, we have a lot better,
A
dude.
lot better.
A lot better.
All right. My bad, bro. I didn't know it sounded like that.
Yeah, it's we don't have the cochino raindrops no more.
Yeah, so
Hey,
it's looking at the Spurs right now. Buyout markets now coming into effect. Spurs need a center. A lot of Spurs fans are wanting the Spurs to go after Mo Bamba. Now Mo Bamba, hook 'em horns. Former Longhorn great. He has the height. He was good a few years ago, but Mo Bamba bounces around for a reason, right? He's played for the Clippers, the Sixers, the Lakers, the Magic. When you play for 4 different teams in 2 seasons, you can't really say that you're a great player. So I don't know.
An insurance policy. He would just be an insurance policy at this point.
The fascination is he's a Longhorn. That's the fascination.
Exactly.
They remember him from like 10 years ago in college. And that's why Spurs fans get excited. But the Spurs right now, really, when you look at the standings right now, I talk about it being murderer's row. I'm looking at the Eastern Conference, right? I would go off and say that the 10 teams in the West are better than the top 4 teams in the East. What I mean by that is, like, Cleveland's good, Boston's good. That's fine, right? They've got a couple of good teams out there. The Knicks at 34-17, fine. But after that, I'll take every other Western Conference team beyond that, dude. I would take Dallas. I would take. Thank you for putting up the standings. Like, are you scared of the Pacers in a playoff series? Are you scared of the Bucks in a playoff series? The Heat, the Pistons, the Magic, the Hawks, the Bulls. The Eastern Conference sucks.
Well, that's like LeBron's early years. Like, you remember that 07 when LeBron carried those Cleveland teams all the way through the East to the finals, and the Spurs were like in dogfights with Phoenix and all those teams. Like that's kind of way it is. It's like it's unfortunate because there are teams, like you said, that teams and players that are good, they have to get through that murderer's row and they don't even get there. Where the team on the opposite conference or division or whatnot gets to kind of cruise through. I mean, it's just no.
You know who I want as a center?
Who's
back for the San Antonio Spurs?
You want Pirtle.
I want Portal back, dude. Give me some Yaka Portal.
Yeah,
dude.
but then we all complain because at 7 feet tall, he couldn't dunk to save his life.
I don't give a goddamn what he can't do. Get him in the paint. Get that. I guess.
Set some screens.
Yeah.
Be a big guy. Spurs back in action tonight. It's an early tip-off, 6 o'clock, taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Spurs favored by 10.5. Look at Vegas giving a 10.5 point spread on the road.
What world do we live in?
I hope this comes to fruition and this Spurs team doesn't roll over and show them their bellies and get blown out of the water by 20 points.
Charlotte,
pray to God,
Charlotte sucks, man. The other game that we're going to be watching is the Bucks on the road taking on the Hawks. Milwaukee favored by 5.5 points today. That's a big game for the Spurs to watch.
If the Spurs team gets blown out, I'll be on Twitter going live after the game.
So it's interesting. You take a look at what it's going to take to make it into the play-in tournament. People are telling me it's going to take a lot of wins. Well, currently right now, remember I've been posting that Coach Lou Brown, every time the Spurs win, we peel a section from.
And I love it.
A week ago, I had done the math based on the standings to get to that 10 spot. the Spurs at that point would have to play 600 ball. They had to go 21-14, right? That was because the number 10 spot was a game above 500 at the time. Right now, the 10 spot's a game under 500, and that team is Sacramento, and Sacramento with no De'Aaron Fox is starting to reel. So right now, if you look at the odds, the Spurs have to go somewhere around 41-41. They have to go 19-15 the rest of the way to make the playoffs.
Or the play-in.
The play-in tournament, right? So we're not going to make the playoffs. We're not going to make one of the top 6, but you take a look at that team. Number 9 is at 500. Number 10 is at a game under 500. Number 11 is a game under 500. Spurs right now at 22-26. Man, that lost to the Heat the other day by 1. Oh my God, that could be the difference when it's all said and done.
The math says they're about 2.5 games out.
Right, and I know you're looking at this saying, well, the Spurs have lost 7 out of 10, but you know what? You know what the Spurs record is, Joe? What the Spurs record is, Fernandez? Spurs are 1-0.
And in the Fox era,
we're 1-0.
Yep.
We are in the Fox era.
Yeah.
We are 1-0.
he keep that same energy when they don't make the play-in.
I agree.
They might not make it.
You know,
To Mike's point, if they somehow squeak into the play-in, nobody wants to see a Fox that's now ingrained in the team and learns this, the plays and the system, and a Wemby, bro. Like, I'm telling you right now, man, they're gonna fox around and find out. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you,
hey, put it on the shirt, Rick. Put it on the shirt.
You already know. Put it on the shirt. Dak, Bear County, we're gonna fox around and find out, because I'm telling you, if they get into that play-in, bro, Fox and Wemby and everyone's clicking, man. Like, man.
All I'm saying is the Spurs play 3 games in 4 nights, right? Here's all I'm saying. Spurs are 22-26, right?
Let's see.
Here's all I'm saying. The Spurs got Charlotte. Charlotte's record is what? 12-36.
Yeah.
They suck. Spurs should win that game. After that, get a little confidence, go 2-0 with the new lineup.
Yep.
Get to Orlando. Guess what? Orlando is 25-28. Winnable game.
Winnable game.
After that, you go on, and who do the Spurs have after that? Another very winnable game. The Washington Wizards, who are 9-41.
There you go.
What I'm saying here, Fernandez, is that the Spurs right now could be a game under 500 4 days from now. When we come back on Tuesday, after Super Bowl Sunday, we come back over here, we start talking about this on Tuesday. Spurs could be 1 game under 500. 1 game under 500 right now is play-in bound.
Yes. And the confidence of Castle right now, man. I mean, bro, I'm telling you, bro. If they get into the play-in, bro, and it's not unlikely, it's not out of the question. We're not reaching for they're gonna, like you said, they're gonna be one of the actual playoff teams and all that. So this isn't an unreasonable take. Mike gets beat up a lot for unreasonable takes sometimes, but this is not an unreasonable take. I mean, this is logical now. This is logical. No, it is. It's logical to say if they find their way in the play-in, watch out, bro. Like I said, De'Aaron will be more ingrained in the team. He'll learn the plays and all that. He'll be comfortable with his teammates. Wemby's Wemby. Castle's confidence has been going through the roof. Let him win that dunk contest.
You know what I want to see? I want to see the playoffs. I want to see the Spurs somehow make their way into the playoffs. And I want to see Houston take down the Spurs. And I want to see I want to see the look on their face when a De'Aaron Fox-led team with Wemby and Castle with more confidence goes in there. That's what I want to see, because like you said, no one wants to see this team.
Mm-hmm. Are you serious, man?
Kind of like no one wanted to see the Bengals. The Bengals missed the playoffs. They were
on a one. You don't want to see, especially the play-ins are like that one and done. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't a full series and all that. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I don't think teams are that afraid of the San Antonio Spurs because they can't shoot a 3, bro. They can't shoot a 3 to save their lives.
The Spurs are 1-0. None of these teams have faced the Spurs as they're constituted right now.
You know what it is, man? The Spurs right now with Fox on the team, they're a Toyota Corolla with the fucking wing on the back of it.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
The Spurs, if De'Aaron Fox was on this team at the start of the season, Spurs would be in the playoffs.
Yes.
Spurs would be a top 6 team in the West. That is who they are right now. The Spurs are 1-0. It all started.
It's a new era. It's a new era, bro. It's a Fox era.
You remove a 39-year-old point guard who, don't be wrong, he's a future Hall of Famer. You look at De'Aaron Fox play and you look at Chris Paul play.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Spurs got themselves, and it's not a Corolla. We didn't get the Harrison Barnes of point guards.
So when they get into the play-in, right? They get into a play-in, right? They're going to go up against a better team, of course. And this team, the better team that they go against, is probably going to win because they can shoot threes and they can shoot consistent jumpers. The Spurs might get close and make it interesting.
You think the Spurs are going to lose to Sacramento?
I'm just saying if they make the play-in. I'm not saying that Sacramento's going to be in.
The play-in team is going to be one of the other lower-level teams.
I understand that.
Right.
I'm just saying, at the end of the day, whenever the dust is settled, the Spurs are always doing one or two things.
The Spurs are going to lose to the Mavericks without Luka?
Spurs aren't the team that I think y'all are billing them up to. They still have to prove themselves.
You know
what, man? I don't know you anymore, Joe.
I'm just
I
saying.
don't know you anymore.
Look, man,
I don't know you anymore, Joe.
Y'all are excited. I'm just trying
Joe's
to.
my boy. Joe's my boy, man. But I don't know you anymore.
If you were to rank the players in the NBA, Spurs now have 2 players that are in the top 30.
Okay, but they still can't shoot a three. That's
Who
what I'm
cares?
saying. It matters when you're trying to get into the playoffs.
You don't know if they can't shoot a three. Here's why.
The stats tell me
because you have a better point guard to get you into
so
position.
De'Aaron Fox is going to
more assists. There's going to be more assists and more open threes now.
They need more out of the rest of the squad.
Here's why. De'Aaron Fox is a blessing to a lot of these players.
We have a super now.
He's a blessing to a lot of players here. Okay, here's why. You have Victor Wembanyama who's going to be able to get the ball in his spot. Okay, and I don't mean to quote Tupac, right? But all eyes on me. You think that people are going to be focusing on Wemby on offense now? They can't focus on Wemby anymore. De'Aaron Fox is too effing fast, and he's too damn good.
Fox around and find out.
You have to focus on De'Aaron Fox, right? Which means what? Wemby can go and pick his spots. He can go find his spot because they can't just all be looking at Wemby the entire time. Wemby's three-point shooting is going to go up because more people are going to be focused on De'Aaron Fox. You're going to take a look at Vassell. Vassell's shot selection is going to go up because why? They're focusing on Fox. Like Tupac, all eyes on him.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do.
And then the other player, the player that no one talks about right now that is benefiting the most from De'Aaron Fox is going to be Jeremy Sohan.
Yeah.
Jeremy Sohan is going to benefit because he's not going to need to dribble the ball. He's not going to need to shoot threes.
Yep, no more threes.
He is now going to be allowed to do what he does best and just be a scrappy player, go focus on defense, go do things, go light things up. And we saw one game with him. Jeremy Sohan, 7 of 8 shooting.
He doesn't have to play the point. He can go ahead and do the backdoor cuts, lift the paint, get the little putbacks.
We said this on this show that if everybody has to shift over and now Devin is your third best option and Jeremy's your fourth best option, now we're talking. Devin can be your second option. Jeremy can be your second option. No disrespect to those guys, but we knew that couldn't be a thing. But if Devin is now your third option and Jeremy's your fourth, now we have something.
People are saying that I'm living on a JHNSB saying Mike is going to be heartbroken. LOL. Dude, this is the end of the season. Okay, it's the end of the season. There's what 35% of the season left. If I had to bet on it, are the Spurs going to make the play-in tournament? No. Okay, I would bet against it, right? The odds of the Spurs making it is probably 30%, right?
I bet the Spurs get it planned.
But what were the odds when the Spurs didn't have De'Aaron Fox? 5% chance. Okay, the chances have gotten better, right? De'Aaron Fox would be a star if he was on a big market team, and people bag on him and shit on him because they would rather glorify Luka Doncic, which justifiably so. Dude, the whole thing about Devin Booker sucks. If you gave me a choice between having De'Aaron Fox or Devin Booker, I'd rather have De'Aaron Fox all day, every day, and twice on Sunday versus Devin Booker. Devin Booker is one of the most overrated players in all of the NBA because he's banging a Jenner.
Not anymore.
Well, I would say I'd take De'Aaron Fox over Devin Booker, but I wouldn't go that far. I mean, Devin Booker can cook, man. Devin Booker can get hot and score, but I'm not
He's the
He is
microwave.
so overrated.
You know what he is? He's the
so
modern
great.
day
He's good.
version of the microwave.
Oh, dude, Vinny Johnson never averaged 30 points, dude. Vinny Johnson was 11 points per game guy, dude.
The microwave.
You just like the nickname, Joe.
Because he
He's
gets
the air fryer.
He gets struck.
Hey, he's the air fryer. Joe,
like that
he's
one.
the air fryer. Microwave is back in the day. Microwave is old school. He's the air fryer. He's the air fryer. Devin Booker is the air fryer.
We have a coach. Let Mitch Johnson cook, man.
Oh, bro, you didn't like
Joe,
him.
I've been talking the praises of Mitch Johnson from the get-go. I have not crap
Yeah,
about
you said he was better than Pop.
Yeah. And
which is that's a stretch. Let's go there. That's I like Mitch Johnson. I love Mitch Johnson, but to sit here and say he's better than Pop and all that already, that's ridiculous.
Blake Wesley is better than Michael Jordan. Why? Because Michael Jordan's 60 and Blake Wesley's 25. Okay. At some point, right?
He's better. He's just younger. He's just younger and he's in now. Like that. That's what it is.
But here's the problem with it all.
Yeah.
All the Spurs fans go, we need a coach. Mitch Johnson would be
Mitch
snapped
Johnson
up in a heartbeat. If the Spurs got rid of Mitch Johnson would have a head coaching job within a matter of hours.
And
I love what Mitch Johnson's doing. I love what Mitch Johnson's doing, and I love his young energy, and I love what he's bringing. But again, to sit here and say he's already better than Pop is over the line.
Mitch is
but I do like Mitch Johnson.
He is, dude.
I kind of felt like after the stroke, Mitch Johnson was doing his thing, and then when Pop was getting better, Pop got on the phone, started calling, and all of a sudden the lineup started changing. Dude, Mitch Johnson
can't have it both ways, bro. If Mitch is doing his thing, then you gotta give him credit for the good and the bad. You can't just say when it's bad, it's like, oh, Pop must have been on the phone. Come on.
Well, Pop was on the phone because
he was on the phone during everything. During all the good and bad.
Mitch Johnson, they were asking Mitch Johnson a couple weeks ago about the lineups. And he was like, well, he basically said Pop wanted me to play it a certain way.
Right. What I'm saying is, so that you got to credit Pop then for the good and the bad. Then
no,
if Pop's on the phone,
no. Mitch Johnson was doing his thing. He was doing his own lineups. He was doing his own thing immediately, and it was working well. When he had Champagne in the lineup, and he had Vassell coming off the bench, that was not a Pop thing. It didn't look like a Pop thing. And when the Spurs started changing the lineup, I told Joe, I said, Joe, it feels like Pop's back in the building. And then what did you hear from Mitch Johnson? Yeah, Pop's been calling us about this, that, and the other. So Mitch Johnson is a young guy. And well, what about Brett Brown? I don't give two F's about Brett Brown. Brett Brown's in his 50s and hasn't accomplished squat.
He's younger than Coach Pop.
Dude, everybody's younger than Coach Pop.
You know what? No, I go back to this, man. Like, I know, I hear what you're saying, man, but
I want to throw my keys at you, Joe. Well, I don't know why you're trying to get under my skin today.
You were saying 75.
It's a collective effort. I think one time Mike might have said something like Mitch is just doing him and like none of the other coaches are helping or something like that. That's wrong, bro.
No,
bro. There's no way, bro. Because it's like if you have a staff of people and you're the boss, you're the boss, but like you have a staff of people, bro. Like I think all three of us have been in a position, I'm pretty sure, in a leadership position as a boss or whatever, and we've had staffs. I'm not trying to toot all three of our horns. I'm just saying that's what we had. You credit your staff, bro.
You're
just sit here and say
sorry, Spernandez is echoing what Jeff Garcia said that I said, which is something that
I don't watch Jeff Garcia, so I didn't know what he said. No, Jeff Garcia put that out there, so I don't know what he said. I'm telling you what I'm saying from my own just
obviously, there's a staff involved, right?
Okay.
Because when Pop was rocking and rolling 4, 5, 6 years ago, he had Becky, he had Ime Udoka. It is a team effort, right? But at the end of the day, the buck stops with somebody.
Sure.
Right. At the end of the day, the buck stops with somebody. You can't have a bunch of generals and no soldiers, right? There's one, there's one on top, and then there's captains and lieutenants and all the way down, right?
Remember,
you can't disregard them either, though. You can't just disregard all those captains and lieutenants all the way down to the private. All the way down to the private. You can't disregard all them.
But during the game itself, Mitch is doing his thing. He has Brett Brown next to him.
Right.
But it's 80-20, 70-30, because at the end of the day, one's got to be the leader of the team.
Right.
And you can't.
It's not zero. It's not zero. And that they're all not giving in. Yeah.
And the thing is that Mitch Johnson, right? He was named the interim head coach by who, though? I bet you anything it was Coach Pop that said, I want this young man to be given a shot. Maybe he sees something in him that he thinks he's going to be the next head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. Maybe it was Coach Pop's doing, and he said, I want him to go ahead and be the interim coach. You know,
maybe it was Brian Wright. I mean, Brian Wright's the GM.
I'm just saying, but I'm thinking Coach Pop had a hand in it. But speaking of old, I was going to tell you this, right? You're saying Coach Pop is up there in age and all that. Guess who's finally going to prepare for their final broadcast? At 91 years old, Hubie Brown, bro. God dang.
So let's talk about Hubie Brown. Hubie Brown was the oldest head coach in NBA history. He was 70 years old, was coming back for his 71st. Well, he was coming back for year 71, if you will, of coaching. Hubie Brown ended up having medical issues, and that sidelined him. He tried making a comeback at 71, lasted a few games. That's all he could do, and then he retired at 71. At 71 was the oldest head coach ever. Greg Popovich broke that record in the year 2020 during COVID. Okay. Greg Popovich is 76. I want Pop to come back, tip of the cap, coach a few games.
Give him his roses.
Give him his roses, right? I would love to see that, right? Or be on the bench or whatever the case may be. I would love to see that. If I saw Pop coaching next season, I would be pissed off. I mean, it's like Jerry Jones, dude. Just effing go away. Just go away. I hope he's better. I hope health-wise is better. Pop is not even seen in NBA circles as being an elite coach anymore.
No.
We have elite players, and you look at Mitch Johnson. Go, well, why give the keys to him? Because he's up and coming. Because he might identify.
But that shows that Pop is elite to say give Mitch Johnson the keys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
like Pop did have a say in that. Like you said, I'm sure Brian Wright and obviously ownership or whatever, but Pop was probably pushing to say, because Pop, an easy thing would have been, let Brent Brown run the team. He's been a head coach before, but for Mitch Johnson specifically that's a calculated move.
Well, it reminds me of the NFL when you have these retreads, right? Like you have the Mike McCarthy's of
coordinators, offensive coordinators, head coach, back and forth. Yeah.
You know, Mike McCarthy, Brian Flores, you got these guys out there who are retreads. They go around from team to team to team. But then you have some that look at like a D'Amico Ryans, that look at young head coaches like the head coach over, yes. Or you go after a Dan Campbell, right, in Detroit. Was Dan Campbell the most experienced coach at that point? Could they have gotten a more experienced coach? No. But there was something about the youth movement that it was needed. You needed to have a youth movement of coaching. Not only you need a youth movement and also on the court, on the floor, and on the bench as well. And when you see the teams go in that direction, that's a great thing, man. Eric Spoelstra, what experience did he have? Pat Riley chose Eric Spoelstra.
Video coordinator.
Then he became an assistant coach. But Pat Riley was the one who looked at him and went, this guy has a mind on him.
Right. Yeah.
I think Mitch Johnson has a mind on him. And I know a lot of Spurs fans out there want to have a quote-unquote more experienced coach. But unless you're going to have a coach out there that has won battles like a Spoelstra, which he ain't going to come here, right?
No.
Yeah.
May as well go with a young guy who at least has pedigree.
Yeah.
He's learned from Pop for a few years.
I mean, he's a Stanford grad. Okay. So we got he's a smart dude. Like he played ball in Stanford, smart guy, educated. There's a lot of, it's you're banking on the potential in the future and what you see. And that's what we do. Again, going back to being in a leadership position. If you've ever been in a leadership position, you've seen some young up and comers like, damn, they got it.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have the experience, but they got it. Like I see it and I know it. And that's what makes a good, that's why good leaders lead. Great leaders give others the potential to lead.
Well, let me ask you.
That's a good Marine Corps experience.
That's a good militarism. That's a
Marine Corps experience. Like I can be a great leader and lead. That's fine. I can be an above and beyond amazing leader when I get others to lead.
Well, let me ask you this. Back in the late 90s, the Spurs drafted a guy named Tim Duncan out of Wake Forest. And they had a head coach that named himself the coach because he was a GM named Greg Popovich. How much head coaching experience did that man have in the NBA? None. And he became one of the GOATs. That's why I'm saying let Mitch Johnson cook.
I agree.
Because if Popovich saw what he saw in himself, and what did he have? He had the pedigree of being under Larry Brown.
Yep.
Right? He had and he had some Pomona Pittsburgh.
Air Force Academy.
Right.
Small little,
But he was from the Larry Brown coaching tree.
Yeah.
He had no experience, but he had a Hall of Famer in David Robinson, a future Hall of Famer, MVP already, and he had the number 1 overall pick in Duncan. He saw it in himself to do that, right? So now you have to look at this and go, then Spurs fans shouldn't really complain about Mitch Johnson being the head coach because we've already been through this before, and it turned out to be good. Let Mitch Johnson cook. Let's see what he got. And he got thrown into this whole thing. It's not like he had the whole offseason to prepare.
Yeah, true.
He
Let us see him with the whole offseason. Let us see him with the full summer practice and everything. Yeah.
Let's get some love to MCS General Contracting. They power the super chat over here at the Area 210 podcast.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
Our Concrete, he is a big fan. Chris Leha of MCS General Contracting is a big fan of the Kansas City Chiefs. He went to Texas Tech, so obviously a Patrick Mahomes guy. Super Bowl 59 is Sunday, and it's a rematch of Super Bowl 57. And I'm looking at the spread right now; it has dropped to 1. You see the Chiefs favored by just 1 point over the Eagles. It's interesting because you have the three-peat possibility. You have the possibility of that'd be a 4th ring for Patrick Mahomes, which would be remarkable. On the other side, Jalen Hurts, who's been criticized by a lot of people over the years, not considered to be elite, but he's got Saquon Barkley. He's got a very, very good defense. The weird thing about it is that what the Eagles suffer at or struggle at defensively is what the Chiefs do good. So it's kind of one of those things. What's going on? If you had a bet on this game, it's a 1-point spread. Game being played in New Orleans. Who you taking, Fernandez?
Chiefs, man.
I know.
I gotta go Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, this is like the worst scenario that could have been. Like I didn't want to see this at all, to be honest. Like I know I have Chiefs fatigue, Taylor Swift fatigue. Like I think other people have it. I can't root for the Eagles obviously as a Dallas Cowboys fan. I just can't.
Never,
I can't bring myself to root for the Eagles. Even though, I can be impartial. Like I do love like the story of Saquon Barkley, like redemption, like he's doing his thing and all those, But at this point, like I gotta pick the lesser of the two evils. You know what I mean? So for me, it's Chiefs.
I'm cheering for the Eagles, but if I had to put money on it, I'd bet you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
At this point, we look for reasons too, right? Because he doesn't have a receiver 1. I mean, I guess Xavier Worthy has become that guy. He doesn't have an elite running game. Has a pretty good defense. What we're seeing here, Eagles and Chiefs, 2 top 5 defenses. Hey, what do you know? Defense wins championships, right?
Who would have thought?
The Eagles almost beat the Chiefs last time. In fact, the Eagles were up in Super Bowl 57 going into the 4th quarter, but lost that game. But they come back in now with A.J. Brown. They come back in now with a Saquon Barkley. Who is different.
This is a different piece. This is a different Eagles team. So
it's a different team. So I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than most people think.
It'll be close.
You got 2 good defenses. And if the Eagles can just sustain drives, right? Sustain drives, and if the referees can just get out of the damn way.
You know what I think is going to
happen? A low-scoring game favors the Eagles.
Yeah, it does. But I think what's going to happen is that the Chiefs are going to win. I think it might be a little bit more high scoring than people think. probably say maybe in the 20s, 27.
Well, the over under is 48.
Okay, so it's 27, 23, something like that.
That's right around there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And the other thing is there's going to be some controversial calls. So you know who's going to be my vote for MVP of the Super Bowl? The refs.
The refs.
refs.
I'd hate that, man. I would absolutely hate that. But the Chiefs, again, it's going to be a 5:30 kickoff on Fox, Super Bowl 59.
You know what? I hope we have some good commercials, man. The commercials been lacking lately.
I saw the Sidney Sweeney one yesterday. That was kind of funny. They've leaked out a few of them. Did you see that one? It's Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan.
No, it's funny because we live in an era now where like everything gets leaked. Like there's no way you can keep anything. Before, remember back in the day, like that literally was like the first time you heard or saw like the commercials or whatever, And now everything gets leaked. But I hope it's good. I hope there's some good commercials because some people just watch for the commercials.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, and I don't want to say just women, but I'm just saying generally. There's a lot of women that love the commercials and all that. I like the commercials. I love seeing the creativity of because
they spend a lot of money
the amount of money that you're paying for a Super Bowl commercial. You know what I mean? Like
Joe, the one that I found interesting was that Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal, they go back to the diner from When Harry Met Sally. And it's a Hellman's commercial. Yeah. So she's eating a sandwich.
The mayo.
And it's an orgasmic sandwich.
Oh, God.
Apparently, they were kicked out of that one restaurant that one time, and now they're allowed back. And remember that iconic line of, I'll have what she's having?
Yeah.
It's Sidney Sweeney doing that.
Oh, God. But you know what? I was going to say congratulations are in order because we're talking about Super Bowl football. To Josh Allen, he officially is the MVP of the league. Yeah, had a great season.
It's the first time in more than 20 years that someone who was not first team All Pro made won the MVP award because All Pro went to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, we talk about Kansas City fatigue, right? Chiefs fatigue. I think the voters had fatigue of voting for Lamar Jackson for MVP. It's no different than those who don't want to give it to Joker every year in the NBA.
Right. Yeah. We're gonna see that. We're gonna see that in the future with Wemby when it comes to Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna happen.
Literally can win every year, and it's like, all right, we get it. Like
so this brother running off the field, man.
Yeah. Oh, Haley Steinfeld.
He goes home. That's Haley Steinfeld, bro. Come on. Man.
So here's the thing about the voting though. That's interesting. The same people who voted for All Pro were the same people who voted for MVP, and they went contrary to their original vote.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit odd. Patrick Surtain was Defensive Player of the Year. It's very rarely do you have a second guy in the secondary win.
Yeah.
But that was kind of interesting. Also, Hall of Famers were announced yesterday. Antonio Gates, one of the best tight ends of all time. It's one of those. It's the smallest Hall of Fame class since 2005. Eric Allen, Jared Allen, and wide receiver Sterling Sharp. The Pro Football Hall of Fame. Yeah. And as ESPN is reporting, some big names that did not make it included Eli Manning. A lot of people complaining about Eli Manning and his Hall of Fame candidacy. He's going to get in.
Yeah.
The question was he going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? I never thought he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I know he had a 500 record as a starting quarterback, but the guy has two of the most iconic moments ever in football history. And he beat Tom Brady twice. And it wasn't one of those things where it's like, oh, well, he handed the ball off to Tiki Barber or anything like that. And then Tiki Barber went off for 300 yards. He led those teams. Yeah. The escape from the grasp of the linebacker, and then he turned around and to David Tyree, just the Manningham and all that.
This goes back to what we talked about: talent versus winning. Eli isn't the most talented guy, but he's a winner.
The winner.
So
and he's a Manning. He's a Manning on top of that. People want to talk about Bill Belichick saying that he was the real MVP.
God, Bill, was he walking down the aisle again or the red carpet with his booth?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a photo of it on right now,
dude.
I believe he's in his 70s and she's in her 20s.
Go get it, Dirty Bill. Go get it.
Man, I'm not going to say good for him. This is Cochino stuff.
Go get it, Dirty Bill.
I'm not saying that he needs to be with somebody his own age. I'm not saying that. There is a point in time.
Mike, one word. Good. No, I disagree. Y'all, good for him. Good for him. This goes into the relationship advice that Joe was talking about. Is how young is too young.
Okay, so Belichick is 72 years old. His girlfriend is 24.
Wow.
Okay. She is 3 times. Dude, no, I mean, you say good for him and all that stuff. Dude, this is gross, dude.
48
I'm
years.
sorry.
I don't think so
This
because
is
it's
gross.
consensual. It's consensual.
Oh, I'm sure it's consensual, and
it's consensual.
He's doing it because he has the money, and she's doing it because he has the money. That's all that it is.
That's all what everything is. Hey, we've all been married and then went back into dating world. Don't act like having money isn't a plus. I mean, come on. Like don't act. Come on. Like, let's be real. Let's be real. We've all been in married and then back in the dating world and with younger women. I mean, like I'm with Steph. She's 10 years younger than me. Like
that's not bad, though. There's nothing wrong with it. You guys look like a good couple. How
exactly? I know. But I'm just saying though. But it doesn't hurt when you have money. I mean,
yeah, it doesn't.
You're
hurt.
in your early 40s. She's in her early 30s. That's not bad. You know why? Sure. Because it is inside of the half plus 7 rule. Sure, the half plus 7 rule. So Bill Belichick is 72. That's divided by 2. That's 40. That's 72 minus divided by 2 is 36 plus 7, 43. 43 should be like where he's at or higher, right?
God. I mean, I agree. I agree.
He's 19 years off the half plus 7 rule.
Hey, man.
So this is what I was going to ask. This is what I was going to ask you guys, right? So I've been like back in the dating scene, talking with ladies and whatnot, right? Having different conversations all at once. Well, lately this week, this one woman reached out to me and wanted to talk or what have you. Dude, I didn't realize how young she was. So that's what I was asking. How young is too young? She's 33, bro.
Yeah. Well, let's see. You are 48.
49.
Okay. So half of that's 24 plus 7, 31.
I'm in the Goldilocks
range.
You're in the range. You're on the cusp.
You're on the cusp.
The cusp of cochino.
No, I think I'm not trying to sound sappy, but like, it's different when you're like just searching for, a 21-year-old when you're in your 40s. Like when you're like that's your goal, that's different. Now, when it just happens organically and naturally, and I'm gonna assume that Bill Belichick's thing happened organically. Let's pretend that it did. I mean, again, if it's consensual, you're both over 18, you're both
no,
adults.
we got to get away from the both over 18. No. If I was to go to Holmes High School right now, there are girls that are 18 over there. 18. I know that is. Let's get over the 18. And I'm going to give you a tall tale time.
Well, that's again, it's funny when like people want to talk what's legal. Like you base things on legalities unless you don't like it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like because that's what it's like saying like, oh, well, marijuana is legal in certain states. It's illegal in certain states. It's not right or wrong. It's just there's an imaginary line that says it's legal or it's not.
Okay. I'm going to tell you tall tale time, right?
All right.
There was a bar back in the day called Hot Tin Roof. Remember that
place?
Oh
man, I remember that, dude.
I would go there for karaoke night. Anyway, I got divorced the first time back in 2009, right? So I'm 32, 33 years old. My friends are taking me out. And, I'm at a bar. So I'm like, okay, I'm at a bar. And I saw this girl there. It was like a lot of people were like all like having to share tables, whatnot. Tried to flirt with her a little bit, whatever. Asked if she wanted to get a drink. She said, no, I'm good. Like, okay, cool, whatever. Good conversation, no big deal. And I kept asking her if she wanted a drink, and she kept on saying no. So I was kind of like, well, why are you at a bar, right? And then I noticed her hands were always under the table, but then she put them on the table, and she had big magic marker X's on her hands. I didn't realize that they allowed 18 to 21 in there.
Damn,
18 to 20 there. So I'm 33 and she's 19. Now, some people are like, well, she's of age. It could be consensual and all that stuff. No, because I'm 33 years old. I was not going to be dating a 19-year-old, right? I don't care if she looked 25. I don't care, right? There is an age.
Yeah.
I am 47 years old. I got separated, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? I'm with Chica now, with Francesca. Love her like crazy. She's great. Right? She's a couple years younger than me, right? A few years younger than me. But there was an age range that I wasn't going to go across, man. I was 46 years old and single, 45 and single. I wasn't going to go beyond 35. Like, I was not going to date anybody more than 10 years younger. Not at all.
Okay. I think it also depends on like what you're going after. Like here's the thing. Like, and this is my thought process. If I'm in my 40s or whatever and I'm single, if we all love like beautiful women being around us and all that stuff. So like, if there's a hot 21-year-old, 22-year-old, and I'm single, right at this point, I have no problem with like hanging out, entertaining, drinking, we're chilling. I have a little arm candy on my arm or whatever. I'm not necessarily like trying to date her or be with her or have this like relationship with her. So it depends on what you're going after. That's my opinion. I think it depends on what you're going after. Now, yeah, to have like a full-fledged relationship with a 19-year-old and 40, I think that's just like, I think we just don't have enough in common to like even like fathom to have that relationship. But it's not about being like, oh my God, you're like a predator or anything like that. But like, again, I'm saying it depends on what you're after.
I think part of it,
if it's like a night out, like, hey, we're having a good time. You're a beautiful woman. You're next to me. We're going to spend time together. We're going to hang out. I'm going to buy you drinks. We're chilling. Sure. Like, okay. But I'm not going to
Fernandez, you sound like somebody who doesn't have daughters. How many daughters you got?
I don't have daughters.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look at Tony Ornelas. Fernandez will smash but not date her.
No, I'm not. I'm just being honest. Also, though, I'm being real. We're real on this podcast. Like what we're talking about. I'm just saying, like, to me, I just don't. Maybe that's why. Maybe because I don't have a daughter. That could be a thing. But like, I just don't. I mean, I'm not talking even about smashing. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just chilling, having a companionship, date night, whatever, relaxing. It's I don't know, man.
Hey, so it's like this, dude. The one thing that I've noticed with all these dating sites or whatnot, ladies ask you one or two things right off the bat. They say, "What is it that you do for a living?" And what do you drive? Like,
I've never had a woman ask me what I drive.
Yeah. What do you drive? What are you driving? I'm just like
that reminds me of the movie Swingers when the girl asks, "What do you drive?" and he goes, I drive a Corolla or whatever he said, Honda Accord, whatever he said. And she like turns away and he goes like, "It's red."
It's red.
By the way, so the big announcement overnight was the fact that Canelo Alvarez is not going to take
Man, you know what? God damn, Mike.
What do we say?
I'm loving you even more. I'm loving you even more that you're bringing this up. I'm loving you even more today that you're bringing this up.
People hating on Canelo this morning, and I was like this with Rick. He's playing chess, dude. These other motherfuckers playing checkers like Jake Paul, you know? Canelo, hey, man, you can't hate the player, hate the game. He used Paul as a freaking bargaining chip, and he got what he wanted. Dude.
Yeah, so it's fighting September 13th, calling it a mega fight with Terrence Crawford, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. It's a big deal, man.
Yeah. I will say this. I will say.
Wait, who's moving up in weight class? Let's see here.
Crawford moving up 3 weight classes. Shit.
To 154.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What they're gonna fight about 160 or something like that, maybe.
Well, that favors Canelo.
Well, Alvarez. The deal was in place for Alvarez. Was 168 pounds.
68. Yeah.
So yeah, he's
you know what? So I'll say this, man. I saw last night. There was so much going on last night. It was the original report from Ring and very reputable sources was Jake Paul versus Canelo Alvarez is happening in May, and it's happening, and everybody was like, "OMG, I can't believe it's happening." I love boxing. Joe loves boxing, and I was a little disgusted hearing that Canelo was going to fight Jake Paul, because to me that was a money grab. It was kind of taken away from the little integrity that boxing has already. And it was kind of like, I was a little disappointed. I was disappointed when I heard Canelo was going to fight Jake Paul. And then a few hours later, it got reported that it's not happening, that Canelo signed a deal with Turkey, His Excellency in Saudi Arabia, 4-fight deal to fight in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in May, possibly the other Charlo brother or Bruce, the kid that upset Jaime Munguia. Those are his 2 options apparently right now. And then the big fight in September with Terrence Crawford and so on and so forth. So I mean, I would have watched Jake Paul versus Canelo. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, I would have watched it. It would have been. It would have been. It's an event. So like, it's an event, but it's not a boxing match. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
there's a difference between an event and a boxing match. So, I'm kind of happy that Canelo didn't go forward with the with the Jake Paul thing. I think it would have been a farce.
Well, I mean, Terrence Crawford, ESPN's second best pound for pound fighter in the world right
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely.
He's amazing, and
Yeah.
he is fun to watch.
Yeah.
But then you look at it, going up 2 weight classes, 14 pounds.
Yeah.
And Canelo's just basically going to shrink himself down and then bulk back up in the 24 hours afterwards.
Yeah.
Canelo's going to annihilate him.
Yeah. You know, the old adage is good big guy usually beats good little guy. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, I love Terrence Crawford. If you haven't seen him, he's an amazing fighter. He switches between left-handed and right-handed. I mean, he's an extreme talent. I mean, the kid is amazing. Like, he's in his 30s, but he's amazing. If they were both the same size, I would say Crawford has the advantage, but
Agreed.
he's just too big, man. I mean, going up 2 weight classes, it's a lot to ask of anybody. So
it's a lot of power for Crawford to contend.
it is. Yeah, exactly. 160, like Mexican Junior is saying in the chat, 168 is too heavy for Crawford. Crawford's best weight is 147, to be honest. Yeah, he went to 154 and he's doing well, but 147 is really his natural weight. To ask you to go up to 168 to a guy who's probably going to be about 200 pounds the night of the fight, yeah, that's too much, man.
That's like him having a whole different body that he's not even used to.
Yeah.
And getting into the ring and having to contend with the likes of Canelo, dude. Once he feels those body shots, he's gonna get rocked, bro.
Yeah, and not only that, Canelo, like you said, Canelo is like on the opposite end of his prime. He's starting to fade a little bit, but he's still bad, man. He's still a bad boy. So it's gonna be it's great for boxing, to see Canelo versus Terrence Crawford. This is like a dream fight that a lot of people never thought they'd see because they're in so different weight classes. So commendable to both fighters to make this fight. But yeah, man, the Canelo versus Paul, like I said, I would have watched. I'm not gonna lie, but man, that would have been just like a circus act.
Rick, what's the best fight you've ever been to?
Pernell Whitaker Chavez, 1993.
Really?
Yeah, 93. I mean, I love Chavez, man. This is, I was 10 years old, and this was in San Antonio. This opened the Alamodome, and Jesse James Leija was on the undercard. He beat Azuma Nelson, but that actually changed like how I see boxing because I love Chavez. Mexican, everybody loves Chavez. I mean, if you're our age group, you grew up with Chavez. So my dad loved Chavez and all that, and he was a brawler. He was the quintessential Mexican fighter who gave, one punch. He gave one punch and to land two. But Pernell was just a sweet boxer. Like, he is a masterful boxer. Jab, move, did the boring stuff. He was Floyd Mayweather before Floyd Mayweather, basically. So that kind of just changed my attitude about boxing, where you got to be smart in that ring. You know what I mean? It's an unforgiving sport, and brawling and trading and all that is fun and it's great for the fans, but unfortunately, man, most of those guys end up pretty hurt in their personal lives and their physical appearance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's unforgiving, man. So as much as people hate Floyd and all that, you got to be a smart dude, man, to like box and move and make money and then still have all your mental facilities about you. After
I like boxing. Floyd just never did it for me. Just never did. The best fight I ever went to in person, I saw Timothy Bradley beat Manny Pacquiao in that controversial fight back in 2005. Everyone thought it was super controversial. Watching it pretty close up, I thought it was closer than what it looked like on TV. But Manny won that fight. I mean, Manny won that
fight. I'm glad you brought that up because that's a good point. It's very different watching fights on TV versus watching them live. And watching like when you're on TV, you're hearing the commentators and all that. So that's why like the judges' scoring is always different because judges are watching the fight live. Like they're sitting there watching it from one part of the ring. You know what I mean? So there's 3 judges around the ring and they have different vantage points. You know what I mean? And watching it live is totally different from watching it on TV. You know, you watch it on TV, and you're like, oh my god, it was, like you said, it wasn't close at all. But you watch it live, you're like, yeah, it looked pretty close. So it's just interesting, like how the human brain works, like how you watch it and how you listen to it affects, you know, your viewpoint.
Let's get some love to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 for your daily content of the Silver and Black. Spurs in action tonight.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
You know, I subscribe on Spotify and on YouTube as well. You should as well. At Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter and Threads. Look at an article that he posted, and this is how old I am and how much I don't pay attention to the NBA anymore when it comes to All-Star Weekend. I'm going to pay attention this year because you got, you know, Wemby and Castle in the freshman sophomores, right? You've got Stephon Castle in the slam dunk competition, so I'll be paying attention this year. But how does this all work again with the Team Chuck, Team Kenny, Team Shaquille O'Neal? God, I hate that show on TNT. That show just needs to go off and die. But
they pick teams. I mean, it's like being in the playground and I pick you, and they just pick teams. I mean,
how do 3 teams play each other though? Is it like
there's a fourth G League team?
Okay, so Team Chuck is where Victor Wembanyama is going to be on, along with Giannis, SGA, Nikola Jokic, Donovan Mitchell, Alperen Şengün, Pascal Siakam, and Karl Anthony Towns. Just give them the title.
Yeah,
like who's going to beat that team? Team Kenny is Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Tyler Herro, Jaren Jackson Jr., Evan Mobley, Jalen Williams. Bunch of guards.
Talented guys, but they're too small.
Team Shaq is Jalen Brown, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, James Harden, LeBron James, Damian Lillard, and Jason Tatum. Hey, that's a great team 5 years ago.
Still a little small though.
They're all past their prime.
Yeah.
I mean, except for Tatum and Brown, they're all past their prime. So again, NBA All-Star Weekend is coming up pretty soon.
You know what's funny, actually? What's funny is that 4 team is like a Rising Stars team. Wemby also was on that team, selected to that team.
Really?
Yeah, it's a freshman sophomore team. The 4 team.
So, is he gonna play it?
I mean, I would imagine he's gonna play in the regular All-Star, but no, he was selected to the rookie, the freshmen and sophomores are gonna make up that 4 team, and Wemby was selected for that team.
I saw an article real fast, Joe.
Yeah.
Well, if you can show my screen, I saw this the other day, and guess what's making a return?
I saw it, Chachos.
Chachos is making a return.
Yeah.
Heron Vital location is going to reopen so that people can go inside. I tried going to the one a while back, the Chachos on Callahan and I-10, which was an iconic spot back in the day. If you can go to $3.
Yeah, because that we used to go to when we'd go to when I worked at USA.
Yes. Were you a big fan of Chachos there, Fernandez?
I'm not gonna. Not really. I mean, not really. I mean, I was. You know, my late drunk nights were TC's, Taco Cabana. You know what I mean? On Marbach. Yeah. That was my thing. I mean, I don't mind Chachos. I'm not saying I don't like it, but whenever we had late nights on my side of town, I mean, and you know, our good friend John Dyer, Spurs and Salsa knows this. You know, Taco Cabana was the move for us. So.
Chachos was great for me because it was kind of like near all the clubs I would go to.
Yeah.
It was within 10 minutes of the atrium. It was within 10 minutes of Park Place. If I was going to go,
Sam Salinas knows about the 90 military location of Taco Cabana, but
yeah, that one's open.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I've been to that one, but there was something about the King Kong nachos at the I-10 Callahan location one.
Yeah,
but back in the day, King Kong nachos, man. Tasted good going in, nauseated afterwards. But I'll tell you what, though, the best place to go after clubbing back in the day, and it's still around after the fire they had a couple years ago, Taqueria Data Point on Data Point Road.
Mm-hmm.
Legit, man. Best tacos in town. One of the best.
You know, yeah, I tell you, man, Mama Margie's don't disappoint either, man.
Yeah.
I like
Mama
Mama Margie's, but why is it so damn hot in there, man? Mama Margie's, they keep it at 98 degrees in there at all times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taco Cabana was good back in the day. If you're
Yeah,
talking
I'm talking about back in the day. Chris Gonzalez, TC's 90 military. He knows what I'm talking about.
Well,
I'm talking about back in the day. Yeah. You know what? All the times that I've been to San Antonio recently, I have never been to a Taco Cabana. So, like, I don't even know what it is now. But I was just out there recently, the last couple of days. But I haven't been to a Taco Cabana in forever. But yeah, back in the day, it was the move.
So my girlfriend and I went to Taco Cabana here in San Antonio. I hadn't been to TC's in like 10 years because it went downhill. They sold themselves to a company from, I believe, Chicago, and it went down. Gonna be honest with you, bit of a resurgence, man. There's a faint heartbeat at Taco Cabana these days because the menu has changed. They've added the menu's probably 3 times as big as it was 10 years ago. It's like I'm looking around, going, they have that here now.
Yeah, wow.
That's kind of it's legit.
I gotta check it out. Hanover Fist is talking about Taco Palenque, which that's not a bad move either.
Yeah, it didn't exist back in the day when we were clubbing.
Yeah, no, that wasn't a thing when we were younger. But now I think Palenque, I think is like the new Taco Cabana, right? Like for us, like our age group.
It's a higher tier.
Let me tell you what they have at Taco Cabana now. By the way, if you like desserts, I don't know if you're into sweets. They have tajin mango fried pie.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean,
they didn't have that before. That's for sure.
They have. I'm gonna show the screen here. They have loaded fries.
See this.
They have loaded fries now at Taco Cabana. They've got breakfast burritos now.
Okay. Yeah. And you know what? What's that meme? I wasn't aware of your game, Shaq or whatever. I was not aware of this game. I ain't gonna lie. I really was. I'm not aware of this.
They have steak fajita torta combos for lunch.
Okay, I'm gonna. You know what? Next time I'm in town, I gotta go to TC's then.
I will
go back to TC's. I'm gonna have to give it another go.
They've got street tacos.
Yeah, I mean the margaritas are always classic. Like margaritas are always classic there. But
is TC's good again?
Hey, you know what? And it's affordable.
Yeah, Joe.
It's affordable because you know what? Going back to the whole like dating scene or whatever.
Yeah,
bro, you're dropping $100 on a hey, let's go out and have dinner and drinks.
Joe, they've got Cabana salad bowls now.
God,
for those who are into the keto.
Yeah,
7-layer burritos now. The
Mike,
menu got expensive.
Mike, Joe, you know what I'm talking about though. When I'm talking about like we were talking about dating and all that, you're talking a good $100, dog. Like let's go have drinks and have food. Shit adds up, bro.
Hey man, at this point,
adds up. No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at this point in my life, if I go out with somebody, I take them out. I fit the bill.
Yeah,
and I'm a gentleman.
Of course.
2, we ain't looking at prices.
No,
I get what I want.
Yeah.
I get what I want. And she can too.
No. I'm just balancing my checkbook at the end of the week, and I'm like, oh damn, I'm like shit. Hey, $100 every 5 nights a week, adds up. So.
Speaking of menus, announced this week that Starbucks is going to cut their menu by about 35 to 40%. 30 to 40% of their drink offers, food items, gone. What are they, Joe?
Gone.
Yeah.
They have not been making their profits the way that they used to in the past. They're losing market share. And the article that I read on USA Today basically said that it had gotten to be too complicated. That people were going in there ordering, coffees that were taking too long to make. They were allowing the customers to make too many changes to the order, customizing it, and it turned into a big old cluster F. And people got pissed off and were going to other places, Dutch Bros, going to other places because they're like, we need to go back to being Neapolitan ice cream, not being Baskin Robbins of coffee.
Yeah, you know what, man? Here's the thing about coffee, bro. There's so many great local spots in San Antonio, to start off with 8 Ball, Gold, in Southtown. There's so many great spots, man. And like to go to like Starbucks and all that, and that's just crazy. And like you said, man, I think it's just overly done. Like, I mean, the company itself even knows it's a problem to say we can't let people just like order all this crazy shit and how long it takes. You know what I mean? Like coffee shouldn't be like that. That's not what coffee was meant to be.
Yeah.
That's what they turned it into, baby. It
Oh,
became
no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I'm a barista. No, you just serve coffee.
Yeah.
There. Okay, now there are differences. So Chica and I are talking about what we're going to do this weekend, right? So, or for Valentine's, because I'm helping her move into her new place, right? What we're going to be doing for Valentine's Day, though, do we go all out? Because she tells me that she doesn't like Valentine's Day because it's so expensive and whatnot, right? But at the end of the day,
They say that, bro.
she's a
They
woman.
say that. They say that.
She's a
but-
woman, right?
Yeah.
I know where I want to go. I want to take her on date night next week.
Yeah.
I took her to the first time that she and I went to on a date. We went to this one mixology place, and that's what I was talking about baristas. No, you serve coffee.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being a bartender and mixologist, though. If you are a legit mixologist,
Absolutely.
there is a bar that we went to in Houston that I got. It's somewhere on my phone. The name of it. It's the best bar I've ever been to. I mean, just for a mixology bar, it was great. I think I want to take her back over there.
Well, where was it located?
It was in downtown Houston because
Okay.
we went to Minute Maid Park to watch the Astros. Then we went back, we showered up, got dressed, and then we went to this one place.
Sounds
it was
like
really cool.
Good time.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, man. My move for Vegas for Steph and I is. I'm sorry. My move. I just gave it away. My move for Valentine's for Steph and I is Vegas, man. So I'm gonna be in Vegas for Valentine's Day weekend. I'm gonna fly Steph to Vegas. I'm gonna drive myself out there because I'm about 3 hours away. And we're doing Vegas for Valentine's. So
The only Valentine that I have for, Valentine's Day on the 14th is my daughter.
Yeah.
My daughter. I only have one baby girl, and since she's been 1 year old, I've always brought her flowers, and I buy her chocolate-covered strawberries. Right now, when she was little like that, but she got older, and I always take her out to eat. We either go do a lunch, or I'll take her out to eat for dinner, and I've been doing that. She's 21 now, and she loves it, dude. She expects the flowers and the little candy, and she likes to go out with her dad. That's our day, and
That's
I'm gonna
good.
keep that tradition going for her.
Very nice, very nice.
that's amazing, bro. That's beautiful.
Spurs back in action tonight against the 6 p.m. tip-off. Spurs coming in with a
4 o'clock in San Diego.
with a 1-0 record coming in tonight. The other games didn't matter, baby. It didn't matter. None
Yeah,
of
1-0, baby. 1-0 in the Fox era. 1-0 in the Fox era.
I like Rick's thing. He puts, all we do is win.
Exactly, baby. That's
All
exactly.
we do is win.
So I'm gonna say around 9 p.m. Central tonight, we're gonna have Fernandez get on Twitter, putting the GIF of the bouncing because when the Spurs
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, there you go. You already know.
It's back,
I
Head
love
of a
it. We're
fist.
back, baby.
Head of a fist comes out and says, "My rule: if we ain't dating by Thanksgiving, no Valentine's Day date."
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's not a bad rule. Like you gotta think about it, right? Valentine's is February 14th, man. About 2-3 months out, bro. If you ain't here, like no. Like don't be trying to roll up on me, Don't try to roll up on me February 8th. You know what I mean? Like come on.
Go out this weekend. No, bro.
So women, a lot of women go out and do Galentine's Day, where it's like
Yeah, that's a big thing now. I didn't know that was such a big thing nowadays.
So there's got to be a male version of it, and I just came up with it right now, Fernandez.
Yeah,
Palentine's Day.
let's do it. Let's do it. Like pal, like
Yeah.
with pals. I
Yeah,
like that. I like that.
Valentine's Day.
I like that.
We're gonna
Valentine's
do
Day. Yeah.
I already
yeah,
know what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it February 22nd. We're
Yeah.
gonna celebrate the 2000. We'll call it Palentine's Day.
Karaoke.
It'll be the week after Valentine's Day. We're gonna call it Palentine's Day. I like it. We do it.
That's
Sam
yeah.
Selena says that is so corny. I'm a dad. We got dad jokes.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Everyone have a fantastic day. Spurs 10.5-point favorites. By the way, show me some love, Joe.
Yeah.
My business is rocking and rolling. 210-508-0369. Investments, insurances, things like that. Disability insurance, life insurance, IRAs, 401k rollovers, things like that. Reach out to me. 210-508-0369. I'm not a newbie. I've been doing this for 19 years.
Okay. Smart when it comes to finances, bro. Smart when it comes to finances. You
That's
can
what I'm
say
talking
what you want about Mike, but when it comes to finances, yeah, you ain't touching him.
That's right, baby. That's right. Going to be adding an auto insurance agency to my portfolio of things that I do. I've been licensing it for so long, been hesitant about doing it. I was hesitant about doing it because I wanted to focus on my investment side of the house. And now that that's up and running, I have time to kind of go focus on the other things. Because I have clients. I have a couple hundred clients. Guess what they're asking me for? Hey, do you do auto insurance? And every time I send it to somebody else, and I'm like, no, you know what? That should be my.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? That's a sign. That's a sign. You're like, shit, I need to.
Yeah, I'm licensed in it. So I'll be doing it through an existing agency, be creating my book of business through there. All the big names, you know, the Progressives and the Nationwides and the Liberty Mutuals and Safecos of the world will all be in there. The Allstates and all that stuff will be part of what I do. So give me about a week or two to go through the training of the software. It's not the training of like the license. I already have the license. I've had it for a long time. It's just getting the quoting system all done. So I'm going to be doing that. Everyone have a fantastic day. Spernandis, thank you for being on.
I appreciate you guys having me, man. I really do, man. I thank you for having me and this platform, man. I'm forever grateful for you guys.
Can I ask you a question real fast before we let you go?
Of course.
My girlfriend was upset because I showed her the movie. By the way, my girlfriend, and I hope you get to meet her pretty soon. Her name is Francesca. She's pretty cool, man. She's pretty cool.
Francesca.
Francesca, yes. Yeah. She is just like me. I'm gonna put up a photo of her. Yay!
Hopefully, you pick a good one this time.
Huh?
You pick a good one this time.
I'll show a date night photo because we always date night in the woodland. There's Chica, right?
All right, let's show it.
I showed her.
Beautiful pic.
We went to the movies. Actually, no, she has a Fire Stick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were looking at movies, and she has not seen a lot of movies like me. Like, I didn't see movies growing up in the 80s and 90s. Guess what? She never did either. Okay. Up until recently, she just didn't like watching movies. So I'm showing her movies like classics from the 90s and 80s and stuff like that. I showed her Full Metal Jacket, and she hated it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was this the Marines or was it the Army that they were in?
Marines.
It was the Marines, right?
Yeah.
Was Leonard the big dude? Was he special needs?
Oh.
You mean like? Do you mean the character or do you mean the real actor?
Not the real actor. The character was he special needs? Because she's looking at me going, why are they abusing a guy who's obviously special needs? I've been watching this movie since like Stanley Kubrick made it like in like 89 or 90. I've never considered Leonard to be special needs. And then I watched that whole 50-minute part of the movie again. Maybe she's right. He was special needs.
Well, here's the thing, bro. Like, no, here's the thing. Like, so recruiters have a quota, right? Of like, because they got to get people into Marine Corps boot camp, right? And I'm talking
Vietnam War, though. This was Vietnam War. This was
right. This is the standards have like increased over the years. So I mean, it's not out of the question that he was special needs, I guess. I mean, to be honest, I've never thought about that either. Like when I saw that movie, I just thought he was a fucking piece of shit, and like, you know, he doesn't belong in my Marine Corps. You know what I mean? I'm like Gunny Hartman. Like, you don't deserve to serve in my beloved Corps. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here with your jelly donut. You know, that's how I feel. I want my Corps strong and hard and ready to defend this country. So possibly he probably was. Something, you know, there's a spectrum, you know. I don't know how far he passed whatever physicals that got him to Marine Corps boot camp back then, but
there was a draft though. I mean, it was the time of the draft.
Yeah, it was a draft.
And I had never watched that movie because when I think of special needs, I think of like Forrest Gump, you know, Forrest Gump, you know, join the military, and you know, but
he was probably like, you know, on the cusp, right? I guess.
Slow? Are we gonna use the word slow?
Well, I mean, he's still. I mean, hey, listen, he excelled in certain aspects, and not that.
Yeah,
special needs kids, special needs people can excel in things. So that's the thing. Like, say, and I mean, obviously, I'm talking to you, Mike, and you know this. Just because you're special needs doesn't mean you can't excel in things. So he was a great marksman. Like, that's what I mean. If you look at it from a lens of a special needs person, it's actually pretty extraordinary because he ended up excelling in Marine Corps boot camp.
Or maybe he
which
was
is
on the
not it's not
spectrum.
easy to do.
Maybe he
which
was
is
on the
not easy to
spectrum of
do.
some sort.
What's that?
Maybe he was on the spectrum somehow.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He was, but like he ended up finding his niche and like doing really well in shooting, and he started doing really well. I mean, he shot his fucking Marine Corps his drill instructor, so he did really well there.
Wait,
It's just. I guess it's an interesting way to look at it, where he ended up excelling, and he probably would have done well, but like he just knew, like, hey, I can't go to Vietnam. Like this is not going to be for me. So he decided.
Isn't it weird how you and I have seen this movie so many times?
Yeah.
And she watches it one time.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Keith
because you look at it from a different lens. Yeah. You look at it. Yeah, that's true, and that's an interesting perspective, because I never looked at it as him being slow needs, or slow or special needs or whatever. I just looked. I'm sorry, special needs. I just looked at it as like again, and that happens a lot though in Marine Corps boot camp. You'd be surprised how many people are like on the fringe of barely making it, and like they deal with whatever Marine Corps boot camp deals with, brings to them. So
Mexican question. Fernandez, how many bars of soap beatings did your unit hand out?
I mean, that's a thing, bro. That's a thing. I mean, that's a thing, bro. Like, hey, you know what? The Marine Corps drill instructors are really good at dividing and conquering.
Yeah,
you know, like that's the thing, bro. Because, but as harsh and as brutal it is, the whole point is, will you make it in combat? Will you make it in war? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it boils down to, man. Like, I know that's why Marines ain't for everybody. You know what I mean? So
Fernandez, I was refereeing a high school basketball game the other day, and the other official was said that he was former military, and I keyed in. I was like, you know what? You're Air Force, right? And he was like, yeah. How'd you know? I said, because you have a body type. Do you believe that you could look at somebody and know what branch they were in, like the Marines have a certain body type?
Yes, absolutely. Even I can look at somebody and by the way they carry themselves, the way they talk, the way they walk, their body types. Yeah, you could tell. You can narrow. Well, first you can narrow it down, like, okay, they're military. Like, I got that, and then you can even further narrow it down by like branch. Depending on Real
fast. Last night, Joe,
Mm-hmm.
I saw for the first time the director's cut of The Martian.
Man, with Matt Damon.
Okay, yeah. First of all, I've loved the movie The Martian ever since I first saw it. Right, it's a great movie. Matt Damon, he's stranded on the planet. Right, love that movie. Donald Glover's even in it. Right.
Yeah.
I told my mom about it. And I said, you know what? I'm now in the mood to watch it. So last night, Spurs weren't playing. I went on Amazon, $3 pay-per-view, right? I didn't realize that I got the director's cut. The director's cut is a long-ass version of that movie, right? It's a 2.5 hour long version of that movie, when typically it's a lot shorter than that, right?
Yeah.
It was so much better than the original. So much better. Highly recommend, dude.
You know what I saw on the airplane? So I was in San Antonio. It was a very short trip, man. I went out to the Spurs lady's funeral, got to rest her soul. We were able to put her to peace on Wednesday. So I went to San Antonio for like 3 quick days. I'm sorry I didn't reach out to nobody. It was really quick. But on the plane ride back, I watched a movie called Juror Number 2. It's a Clint Eastwood directed movie. Highly recommended. Really good. I don't want to ruin it for people, but it's like a it's a conflict of, do I save myself or do I do it the right thing? It's really good. It's called Juror Number 2. Clint Eastwood directed.
An old movie or a new movie?
No, Brett. No, new.
Okay.
Yep.
So what would you do? Have you ever seen the movie Return to Paradise?
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
Okay, Return to Paradise. Great movie that no one's ever seen, dude. No one's ever seen it. It's about 25 years old. It's a young Vince Vaughn and a young Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
It is a great movie. It's about the gist of it is, I'm not giving anything away. It's about 3 Americans who meet, they weren't friends, but they were at like the same island. Like they decided to go to Malaysia for vacation for one reason or another. And one of them gets busted with drugs when all 3 of them were actually partaking in it. How that's like a criminal, that's like a death penalty offense over there. And the question becomes, would you find it in yourself to go over there and say that it was yours also to spare a stranger's life.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, man. Great movie.
It's a similar conundrum in the juror number 2. I'm not trying to give it away, but basically he's on the jury, but he realizes that he may have been involved in whatever this innocent man is being accused of. So do you risk he has a brand new or he has a wife with a baby on the way? It's like, look, I have a wife, I have a baby, I have this great life. Do I risk doing the right thing, quote unquote, for justice?
Yeah.
And ruining my own family? You know what I mean? Like so. Yeah. It's. I mean that's a There's another.
The moral dilemma.
It's a moral dilemma. Yeah. There you go. It's a moral dilemma. I know my answer. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, bro. Like, right is a subjective thing. So.
I'm gonna see how many the Rotten Tomatoes. So I saw Tony Nella said he saw Return to Paradise, good movie, didn't get enough hype. Return to Paradise. I'm gonna look at
is it a new movie or older movie? You already said it's older.
Yeah. This was like Vince Vaughn swingers era. Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
This was Joaquin Phoenix when he was really young as well.
Man, I love Joaquin Phoenix, man. I'll tell you, man. Joaquin Phoenix, man. Even River Phoenix. His brother from Stand By Me, man. I mean, those guys were talented, man.
Let's see the Rotten Tomatoes on it. Let's see, did it get a? It's certified fresh. 70% of critics like the movie. 74% of
you know what? I'm gonna watch it tonight, Mike. I'm gonna watch it tonight. So
the movie came. It's a good watch, man. It's a good watch. The movie came out. Let's see here. Oh, this is a great article. What are the 10 greatest Vince Vaughn movies of all time? They have number 1 being Swingers, 2 Wedding Crashers, 3 Made, 4 Return to Paradise. They have it as the 4th best
pretty good
he's ever done.
Pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Dodgeball, Starsky and Hutch, Clay Pigeons, Old School.
Vince Vaughn, he just got a little over the top towards the later on. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, we get it, man. You know what I mean? We get it. You're Vince Vaughn.
The movie came out in 98. God.
Oh wow. Jeez.
It's been a while, man.
Yeah,
been a while.
All
right. Where were you in 98, Mike?
I was 21 years old. I was a news reporter in Corpus Christi, Texas at KIII.
Wow.
And I would end every story with Michael Jimenez, 3 News.
Oh God.
Yeah.
They would have a commercial late at night of all the reporters. And it was called a 5-second bump, and it would go like this.
Oh,
And it would say Michael Jimenez is on 3 News, and that's all it would say. It would just be good.
the hell?
Close up of a young Michael. That was funny.
Yeah.
All right, this is a long show, but Super Bowl Sunday, this Sunday, let's go Eagles! But the Chiefs are going to win. Kendrick Lamar performing. The rumor is that big time actor these days, Timothy Chalamet, might be the guest surprise person, the surprise feature performer. SZA's also performing, but if Chalamet's out there, that's big league, dude. That's big league.
Absolutely.
Everyone have a fantastic day. We will be back on Monday with the Super Bowl 59 champion, and the Spurs will be 2 games under 500 at that point.
Yeah.
I call them. Speaking of, we'll be back on Monday.
Manifest.